Hello, this is Alex's Toy Review, and today I'll be reviewing DC Total Heroes, Aquaman, and Flash. And I really like these guys. I've been a fan of the kind of more simplified, kid-oriented stuff lately, and these are kind of seem like the successor to what's been called the Batman Evergreen line, which is just not really tied into anything, and that's kind of where the name Evergreen comes from, is because Batman's supposed to be a property you can sell without having a movie tie-in. So this was their kind of generic line, but they were just kind of fun, bigger figures, not a real high price point. A good overall sculpt, but pretty minimal detailing too, and kind of stylized as well with those. So these are kind of similar, except now we're getting new characters and better articulation, but there's still kind of that stylized look to them. And right now, kind of the internet and collectors on there kind of like to poo-poo these guys and dump on them. And part of that is because the collector-oriented line, DC Universe Classics, that's kind of going away now. Even though they had like a separate collector line, that I believe that's stopping as well now. And so you can kind of see the difference. Here's the classic Aquaman, which I really do like this figure. It's one of my favorites from that line too, and I have a soft spot for Aquaman. Just kind of ridiculous, and his orange shirt and his scales and his just kind of like classic Golden Age hero. And then here's the new version of him, and you can kind of see the new ones based on the latest comic. I think it's New 52, and the costumes are slightly different. I think they restarted the continuity of everything for like the 20th time on everything, but you can kind of see he's got a collar, and that shows his newer costume. And then the Flash has like a chin strap thing on a helmet, and he's got like texture and detail in his costume, and that's part of the new thing as well. So they're kind of keeping it more modern with the look of these. But overall, like I said, I like them a lot. I'm kind of ready to move back from the more collector-oriented stuff right now, because they've pretty much made every character, and the price point just keeps going up and up with everything. They're like usually like $15 or $20 now for like a detailed collector one. You can see that with the Star Wars Black Series toys. And I'm a fan that Mattel is kind of trying to keep the price point lower, keep people interested, and offer something that kids and collectors would like too, because these are also, I believe, sculpted by the Four Horsemen, and the Four Horsemen are the kind of big name action figure sculptors in the business. Everyone likes them, and they did the old DC Universe Classics too, so they kind of did the comic book authentic looking ones, and now a pretty good stylized version of them too. And overall the articulation it's not as full, but there's definitely a lot there. You can't necessarily get every little tiny pose you want, but you can get a good range of motion, and that's what I like about figures like this too, is that the articulation ends up just being more functional and solid. You don't have things that wiggle a lot. I kind of always like the DC Universe figures because they kind of had that feeling in general too. Some of the like Marvel Legends get like every little finger articulated, or double shoulder stuff that doesn't even really, it's not even really functional. It's just kind of frozen on the figure a lot of the time. So I don't really need all that, and I don't know why people complain about some of it when it's reduced. I mean, it's a smaller range of motion, but again, it's keeping the price point down, and it's making a more interesting figure that I think one of the big things too is with the collector stuff, the distribution gets so poor because it's more limited. They have really obscure characters they're trying to get out there, and you just end up missing that. And then when it's more tied into both kids and collectors, then you can kind of the Turtles are a good example right now, where they're really popular with kids and you can really find them in stores. So I think when it's kind of aimed at both, there's a better chance of finding it in stores than just kind of collectible stuff. So I like these a lot. The paint is pretty minimal. He's got a little pearlescent glow in his orange shirt. He's got the sculpted scales, which are good. People have said that they're pretty much just body swaps on them, but they have little unique details on most of them. I think the shoulders are the same on these guys, but chest is different. He's got the fins on everything, so there's some good detailing. And then Aquaman comes with his little trident thing, which he always seems to come with. I don't know how often he really uses that in the comic books. And then Flash I really like too. I never was able to get one of the DC Universe ones, so it's good to have a nice solid Flash figure. I kind of like what they did with his hand. They gave him like this kind of like karate chop one, and then his fist is a little to the side too, so he kind of just is good in running poses. He just kind of naturally falls in them, and I think it's kind of fun if you're like kind of slapping around. I kind of like the closed fist too on figures. You can just get a solid, it's kind of more fun that way, I think. So yeah, I really like them. I definitely recommend them, especially because they're going to be a lower price point than like the $12 or $15 figures. Is going to be around 10 to get, and the first wave's going to have Flash, Aquaman, you've seen here, and then kind of the classic Batman and Superman, and then there's some more villains coming out down the line with like Bizarro, Mr. Freeze, and then Green Lantern and other stuff like that. So I'm curious to see what newer waves will be announcing, if they're going to kind of continue on with it. We'll probably see that around Toy Fair, which is in February right now. But yeah, like I said, I really like these. I'm a fan of the more kid-oriented stuff now, but these are pretty good, really. I think people who are reluctant with them should kind of give them a try, because they're solid figures with pretty good sculpt, even if they are a little more stylized. There's some real effort in them, and I definitely appreciate that. So really like these guys, and yeah.